everyone. Richard Carlton here. Welcome to another awesome day of FileMaker training. I'm hiding down here in the corner. You can't normally see me. There I am. Welcome to fmtrain.tv. I'm creator of this wonderful little location where we do live streams every day at 1 o'clock, but I can't do it without you. It's got a great team of people here that help support us, just the normal people that show up every day. We're always learning. I'm always learning. New things are always happening, so it's good to kind of hang out and find out what's going on. So we do have a news section today, but I want to welcome everyone here. It is Thursday. It's surprising. This week is flying by really, really fast, and it's interesting. So real quick, what I want to do is let everyone know that today's broadcast, I'm going to press the little button up here. We don't see it too often. I'm going to press this one up here. I'm going to shrink it down just a smidge. Today's broadcast is going to be primarily for some beginning level, but mostly for intermediate developers. If you're a senior ninja, you should know everything that I'm about to present today. If you don't know it, then maybe you're not a senior ninja, right? Very important. Or you just haven't experienced that, right? But it always happens. People have silos of knowledge and then they know all this stuff, and then you find something basic like, hey, there's a script trigger for that. And they're like, what? So yeah, so it's always a learning process. So that's very exciting. So upcoming broadcast schedule, I want to cover this real quick. So I'm going to zoom in here actually quite a bit on this. So today is basically the warm-up for tomorrow. So Claris has been promoting this today. For those of you who are joining us today and you're expecting that this is the FileMaker Emergency Transport Beam Up webinar, we told Claris last week it had to move to Friday. We need to do a little prep work today. That's what I'm doing with you to make sure everyone understands it tomorrow. When someone comes in tomorrow and goes, what's here? Right, we're going to send them, we're going to say, hey, we covered that yesterday, go back and watch the recording. So what today is, we're going to recap through what EAR is, the developer utilities. We kind of briefly hit it last week, but we're going to hit it more concertedly, take our time, answer questions, talk about it, play with it a little bit. Then tomorrow is the stuff that's like, it's like triple felony illegal, you can't do it. Clara says don't do it, don't ever think about it, just wipe it from your mind, but it will save your in a crunch. And so this is like literally like the emergency transporter in Star Trek when you're about to die and you've got one chance and they beam you out. It's like where they beam you out and then the ship explodes and then you materialize on the transporter pad. This is that kind of deal. But today is going to be the legwork, the warm up to get to that spot. So tomorrow is emergency transporter with Jacob Taylor. He's probably floating around today a little bit in the background in the event that I do something horrifically stupid. He will probably say, boss, you can't do that, right? So that's fine. A reminder, this is a live stream. This is a conversation. This is recorded. If you're looking for concerted, specific recordings of training on various topics, you definitely need to check out fmtrain.tv, but instead of the live tab, you're going to go to the bundle tab and buy either the complete bundle or the video only training bundle. These is where you can go in and learn just about relationships or script triggers or managing containers, things like that. This is more of a conversation. People here are interacting, asking questions. My job is to, one, be entertaining in real time, which is very difficult, and also make it valuable to you so I don't feel like I'm wasting your time. So those videos are much shorter. They're animated, lots of animations and explaining how things work in a FileMaker platform. About 90 hours of training. It works out to about $1 to $3 per hour of training. So trust me, it's really quite good. It's quite worth it. So what I want to do is pop up a sample file that I populated right here. So what I have is a sample file right here, and the goal is to kind of go through the tools that are part of what we call the developer tools. So if you're in here under tools and you have this developer utilities under tools right here, sometimes we call it developer tools. It's really developer, the tools menu, developer utilities. If you don't see this on screen, what you've got is a situation where if you go to File, Preferences, you've got to turn this tools on, advanced tools right here, down here. If you see that, you turn that on, then you have to quit FileMaker. Listen to my words carefully. I'm not saying it for my own benefit. You have to quit FileMaker and reopen FileMaker. Not the file, the whole application, right? Very important. And then when you do that, it will, wow, that's a lot of Richard right there. This menu pops up here. So normally you don't have this menu. You get the script debugger toolbar, or all these other data viewer, all these other things that are in here. So we're talking about this option right here. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about this. This is the emergency Star Trek transporter if you use it kind of in a non-documented way. I mean, the whole save as XML is non-documented anyway, but it's super. What I'm about to do resulted in me getting yelled at by a product manager at Claris about 6 or 7 years ago. He called me on the phone and went, "Richard, you can't show them what you're showing them." And at the time, it was reasonable what he was saying, but now that we've determined that if you get under the hood here and you turn some screws and put some wires together and plug the battery in and all this sort of stuff, you can get the emergency transporter working to beam your up to the ship and away from wherever the bad stuff is. Very, very, very important. So, but to get to that, we need to understand developer utilities. So what I'm going to do is I'm in a FileMaker file right here. The way developer utilities works is that you have to close the file first, and then we can do operations against the file. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here to, I'm going to say back to FileMaker here, and I'm going to have the tools menu. I'm going to say developer utilities. What developer utilities says is show me a file you want to work on. So the file can't be open. It's like a recover tool. It can't be open at the time you're doing it. You have to kind of close it, then go into FileMaker, then activate it. It's kind of a little bit counterintuitive. It just is. So I'm going to open up the quick start, and it says here is the quick start file. So I'm going to zoom in on this. If we have questions, please ask questions. If I've got a moderator, Ken, if you see a question, you need to yell at me on Discord, whatever, that'd be great. So we identify the file. We can identify, conveniently enough, I'm going to move myself, more than one file. Right? We can identify more than one file, but we're going to put it over here. It allows us to do quite a few things. So the next thing we need to do is I'm going to say specify where it's going to save it. So it's not going to change the original file. It's going to make a copy, do some stuff, right? Do some stuff, then save it to a new location. So I'm going to say specify. I'm going to say desktop. I'm going to say new. Actually, it should have been. Hang on, let me zoom back out. I'll say new folder. I'll say untitled. I'll say altered version. Right, altered. It's been altered. Okay. And so I got the folder. I say choose right there. So that's where it's going to go. Okay. And then you say, what do you want to do to this, right? So you could rename it in here. And one of these things that's useful is if you have a multi-file solution, you can actually like open up and you have file 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 files in here, and you want to rename them. But when you rename them, you tend to break things. You break scripts, you break imports, you break all sorts of stuff. And so this allows you to rename it, and then it goes through all the internal references and fixes the broken things that would have been broke on the renaming. So you rename it in here. It's really quite great. So that's one of the things it can do. You come over here and you could say rename the file, right? Rename it to quick start 2, if I wanted to call it that. And I said change. So that's the current file. It will be named this. That's the volume where it's going to go. Down here is the part we really care about. Solution options. Solution options. It's one of those moments where FileMaker changes their terminology. It's a solution. There's apps, there's solutions, there's databases. So a solution is one or more, I think the official terminology is one or more FileMaker FMP12 files, right? That come together to do a single kind of job, right? And so here is the option. This is super, super important area here, okay? And so I will play with these and jump into more of these if you folks have questions. So admin access. This is where you can remove the administrative access privilege set from the file. It's a permanent removal. You're not hiding it. You're not encrypting it. It rips it out of the file. It's a one-way deal. So you could never get into the file with the admin privilege set ever at all, which means the file that you kick out could never be altered by another developer. It can't be hacked. It can't be, someone could open and get data out of it, but they can't go in and change the scripts, the schema, things like that. When I have the video player, you see the video player right here, double click it, this is our video. Let me, I don't know if I can I open this in the other FileMaker? Let me see if I can open it up with, how about I open it with 18? Will that work? Right, okay, so I'm using 18 and 19 on the computer at the same time. This video player right here auto opens with a basic username and password. Even if I hold the option, if I close this file and I hold the option key down and I say open with 18, it presents me the username and password. Even though I know what the admin username and password is, if I type it here, it will not be accepted because that part of the solution has been removed. It's gone, like really gone. And I can't say that with enough permanence. It's really gone. And so all I could do in here is put in a read and write user level password which I don't remember what it is for this file, but it auto enters it. So when you double click it or open it, once again, I'm using 18 here because 19 has this developer utility dialog open. I see it right here. So understand that at no time at point will, with this file, can I ever go back and see any of these items. It's permanently locked out, right? Makes sense? Everyone good on that? Okay. No one saying anything. Everyone must have gone to bed and gone to sleep, which is fine. All right. So that's option number one. Option number two right here is enter kiosk mode. It might be fun to actually generate a kiosk mode for this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, well, the problem with kiosk mode is that you have to have a, well, I'll show you this. Let's do the kiosk mode. We'll do the kiosk mode real quick. It'll be fun. Ken Bear says, is that just the admin account or the account with the privilege right? It removes the admin privilege set. It removes the privilege set. So then any accounts that are attached to it won't work. Does that make sense? So the privilege set's gone. That entire, like, remember, like you open a file, it's like read only, data entry only, and it's in brackets, like the little square brackets, right? That one has been removed, right? So let's create a kiosk just for fun. Most of us have never done this before. So we have the file somewhere. This is the folder. So this was the original file. This is the altered file right here. If you pop it open, so once again, I'm going to open this up with FileMaker. It's admin, I think password. So we didn't remove the admin case. It's still in here. This is the file. See how it works? See the menus, everything here. Now I'm going to close this, and I'm going to open the altered version. And I still put the same username and password in. And so how come it's not in kiosk mode? What am I doing wrong? Did I not select the kiosk mode? Yeah, remove admin is a really good one. We use that. I haven't used kiosk in a long time. I'm wondering why it's not kiosking. I am going to try this again. I feel very stupid. So I'm going to go back into FileMaker 19, and I'm going to talk less and do more. I'm going to focus on it. I'm going to add it in here. So quick start, add. Okay, it's being dumb. Add the quick start.
Yeah,
okay.
The developer utilities menu, it does not do the drag and drop or any of the cool stuff.
Okay, is that what's going on? Okay, so kiosk mode for non-ad. Oh, okay. It helps if Richard would read the damn dialogue, okay? Did everyone see this? So non-admin accounts, right? So it's actually in there, but we have to use a non-admin account. Okay, got it. So let me go back out here. I'm going to Command Z. I'm going to bring it back here. I'm going to open it up. I'm going to open it as admin, and then I'm going to say password. And so I'm in as an admin, so we see everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go manage security. Once again, for those of you asking what gets removed, it's you have the advanced settings down here. See this privilege set? It says full access right here. That is what gets removed. So if I click out, I zoom in. So that top option said remove it entirely. It removes that right there. And then, of course, anything that's tied to that over up here, like this is tied to it, wouldn't work anymore, right? So that's what that option does. It is. I've already demoed it. There's nothing to demo. It just not there anymore, and it doesn't work. So, all right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave that. I'm going to leave that. I'm going to say, okay. I'm going to create a new username and password for me. If I can come down here. And how do I create a new one? There's a new one. All right. So I'm going to call it TK, and the password will be password. Set the password. There we go. TK. So it's TK and TK. Very weak password. TK, you suck. Set password. All right. So we got TK. It's set for read only, but I can say data entry only. And I say okay. And then so I'm going to close the file, and I'm going to open the file. So once again, if I open as full admin, right, we get everything. But what if I do TK and TK? All right. I don't know. Can you guys see this at all? Can you guys see this at all?
Yeah.
So
it went full screen.
It went full screen, right? And so if I
tiny full screen.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of. So if I'm over here, do you see the black over here and my mouse moving? And I come over here, you see it over here. My mouse. Okay.
Yep.
So you see that? Okay, you guys see that? Great. Okay, cool. I'm not sure. I've never done kiosk mode with with any of the broadcast stuff. So hopefully you're seeing this even on Twitch, YouTube. So there's no menu up here. I click in up here, there ain't no menu. So on the Mac, now normally on the Mac you can hit the command key, so you can't see my keyboard, but I'm going to hit the command or control key, and I'm going to hit tab, which allows me to flip open applications. So it doesn't really lock FileMaker in if you have someone who has half a brain. Like I can go back to the Finder right here, and now I'm in the Finder, right? So here I have the Finder, and then I clicked on it, locked me back out. So I could go to other apps, I could go to whatever, Finder, but I can't see the stuff on the desktop. Yeah, so it's an interesting mode. So the idea is that this was a kiosk was this thing. It was the idea of people building their own ATMs, but you go into a hotel and it's like, what rooms are available? And you can type on the kiosk and find out stuff like that. It's like airlines. Airlines have successfully done kiosks. Name the only successful kiosks in the world that I have seen. One is ATM machine since forever is a kiosk. It limits you to like one thing and it's very controlled. The other one is if you go to an airline, you can check yourself in with bags and stuff, right? At least they do that here in the United States. And it's pretty freaking cool, and it's really quick to do. So I like that a lot. Raccoon Ops. Well, understand, gone, forever, better to have. Yep. Put a different folder name, label. What does a user do who has full access? What does a user who was full access be then? You're gone. So Raccoon Ops, to back answer the question, I'm on the kiosk, but to answer the question, that if you were, let me see if I can even do this. Can I even go to myself? Oh, there I am. Okay, so if you remove the admin access, that username, the privilege set's gone, and any of the attached accounts, like say Jacob Taylor is an auth admin, and then Haley Marie and Richard Carlton are admin, they're different admins. If I remove that, those three people, their credentials don't work at all. So they don't revert to something else. They're gone, right? Totally gone, right? So it's a pretty good security thing, but there's no unwind on it. So just understand that that's like a shipping version, and you would still keep the open, unlocked source version for yourself that you would work on. You would never get rid of this and then get rid of your source, the ones uphill, right? Remember, we kept both of them. So now keep in mind, I'm in FileMaker here. I didn't put a quit button on here anywhere. And so I have no way to quit. I think I have to force quit the application, which is always a bad. Okay, I'm trying to force quit. Command, Option, Escape. I have no, okay. I can't force quit. So you guys are still there? Jacob, you still there?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm desperately trying to figure out how to get rid of this thing. Can I?
See if you can get the activity monitor open and then take the kill tool to it.
Okay, activity. This is really good. Activity monitor by name.
It'll show you how good, just in case anyone's wondering, this shows you how good the kiosk mode is. We've locked Richard in.
Okay, here's the activity monitor. So we get into activity monitor. Then we should be able to kill it, right? So we go to FileMaker. There it is. Oh, I saw it. We go by process name.
If you, click the process name.
Give me 1 second. Now, FileMaker is this one. That's 18. That's 19. 19 is the one that's running hog wild, I think, right? So I'm going to tell it to force quit. Actually, let's just try a regular quit. Ah, that worked, kind of. Oh, there it is. Okay, good. So we could do a regular quit. So it doesn't really keep someone from quitting your kiosk application. It just kind of like limits the menu. So you want to put buttons up there like quit and things like that, right? Very important. Questions, force quit the app from the dock. Yeah. Oh, I could have tried. Okay, well, okay. You could try to see if you can quit it. The dock was hidden. If I fire it up, okay, it's trying to open in 18. Let me open it in 19. Okay, it was what, TK and TK. So it's locked out. If I hit, the dock is hidden. If I hit Command Option D, can I bring the dock back? The dock will not expose itself. The dock is gone. Nope. So Canberra, good try, but you don't get any points for that one. So Agent Chevy says basically kiosk mode is for non-admin accounts. There's no way to limit certain. There's no way to limit to certain privilege sets. Yeah, you saw what it said. It's everything that's not admin, right? Yeah. So the kiosk is not specific to a privilege set, right? I can see where that would be useful, but yeah, you'll have to kind of refactor your thinking on that a little bit. Raccoon Ops says better to be a runtime then, except that runtime doesn't exist anymore, right? So we're back to that, right? And I really wouldn't, it's force quit means to now that's corrupted. Yeah, so if you force quit the file, and if the file is running on the server, right? The file could be on the server. If you force quit it, you don't corrupt the file because the file is being protected by the FileMaker server, right? So let me wave my hands around here a little bit. So this file is locally here. If we force quit it right now, we didn't do that, but if we had, yes, you could. You're not closing it properly. You could put corruption into it. Could. If you did it 50 or 100 times back to back, then probably most definitely you would have corruption. If you do it once or twice, is it really corrupted? Yeah, maybe, probably not. Maybe. But if it's on the server protects it, so it would not corrupt it. However, we were actually able to do a legitimate quit. A force quit was not required. Now, your mileage is going to vary on Windows, right? So you're going to try this on Windows, but it does basically the same thing. Yeah, I was doing the app switcher, but you can't really quit here, right? So you have to, what you have to do is you have to basically find the activity monitor on the Mac or the, what's the equivalent they call a process manager on Windows? Is that what it is?
Task manager, yeah.
Yeah. So so here's the activity monitor. Once again, I would, where'd it go? Oh, now I got the doc. Oh, because I'm not in, oh, so the doc is being, so I'm in FileMaker. See that suppressing the doc, but as soon as I switch to another app, I can get the doc back. So I could go to here, get the doc, right click, and hit quit. And there we go. Okay, so that's kiosk. So I've kind of beat that horse a little bit to death. So that's the that one. Let's talk about the next time. Yeah, okay, so yeah. If you want to do kill from terminal, that's a Jacob Taylor conversation. I'm not going to do that for you folks. Because I don't do the terminal unless someone's got a gun to my head. What are we doing next? We're going to go back to the quick start one here. I want to open it in, open with FileMaker 19. I'm going to put the username and password into it, which is admin and then password. So now we're going to talk about ear. We're going to go through ear again more completely and slowly. I'm going to make myself a little bit smaller. So this is the file over here. The file, if it's right here, is not encrypted. I could take this file using some tools on the computer. I could pop it open. I could either read some of it or all of it. So once again, a SSL certificate is point-to-point encryption from a server to a client, that kind of thing, as it transverses across the internet on a wire. That's an SSL certificate. If you quit the file and close the file, right now, like if we close this file sitting here, SSL certificate isn't protecting it. It's not protected at all, which means if I can put it on a thumb drive and I can get it out of the building, then you have a security problem. So the goal is to do encryption at rest, which is a big deal. Okay, so I'm gonna answer a Raccoon Ops question because it's a little bit off topic, but I'm gonna go ahead and kill it real quick. He says, what things are limited by this operation what's on the server? He says, will the plugins not work now? The kiosk mode doesn't restrict plugins or anything else. It just restricts the menus and it kind of locks you into the application. That's all it does. If you want to read about it, once again, I would suggest going to the FileMaker help. Go in here, and then what I would do is I would type in kiosk mode, and you can read about it, but it doesn't say much except it's there, and it limits displaying database in kiosk mode, right? It says the kiosk mode will run on a touchscreen. Remember, the kiosks were supposed to be touchscreens, right? I mean, this was a really big thing 20 years ago. The primary file, main database, equals solution, blah, 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 blah. Further, use navigate and create scripts they can move around. Because preview mode disables buttons, make sure that enter preview mode with a script step followed by resume. So, yeah, just remember that, like if you have a pause in the menu and things like that, those won't be there, right? Controls won't be there. So it removes all the controls across the top. So that's pretty much it. It doesn't do anything else. So hopefully Raccoon Ops answers your question on that. So, because what we're going to do is we are going to put the ear on the password. We're going to put it on the server. So what I'm going to do is this file is not protected. I want it to be protected. I'm going to get rid of, well, there's quick start. I'm just going to call this quick start kiosk. I'm going to come over here and I want to encrypt this. So I'm going to go back to I'm going to pop pop open my side toolbar. I'm going to go to FileMaker Pro. I'm going to go Tools. Once again, I'm not going to open the file because it doesn't work that way. I'm going to say Add. I'm going to go to the desktop. I'm going to find the Quick Start file right here. I'm going to open it. It puts it right here. I will change the name to call Quick Start Ear. Okay, I'll change the name when it comes out the other end. I'm going to specify that it goes to the altered versions folder, right, which is great. Specify options. Encryption at rest. So these two right here are basically the same. One is it going to encrypt it. The other one is going to remove the encryption. We want to turn on the encryption, right? And so I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to say enable that. It's going to turn on logging for us. So it gives us a log of what's going on. The shared ID is kind of important. This is the secret code that if you have more than one file, shared ID is how multiple files know they can trust each other. In a protected solution, it's a little bit different topic. But the idea is that it's going to be encrypted and it has a shared ID. And so we're going to say, let's see, encryption. Okay, let's just read this together. How about we do that? Encrypt a copy of the database by entering the username and password that's assigned to full account access. All right, so I'm going to go to admin and then password. So it wants to make sure that I'm authenticated. Okay, and then assign an encrypted password. So this is the password. Now this password has nothing to do with the other passwords. It's totally different. And so what people normally do is they do something like this. 513122222231 exclamation point beaver beaver beaver, and they get this gnarly password, right? And so I'm just going to put in this case I'm going to put not TK, I'm going to put Ken in here. So capital K E N, okay, then capital K E N, and so Ken is the ear password. New moderator is your clue. It will give you a hint, okay? We say okay, and then we're going to say, all right, we're going to go ahead and do it. We're going to say okay. It's going to then create, and it does this little process. It's very quick. It's done. So here is the ear password one right here. We're going to double click it in Pro. It says, what is the ear password to get in? Okay, so you have to get through this layer of security first. And so we're going to say it's Ken, K, capital K, E, N. But let's say we get it wrong. And I get it wrong again. And then I get it wrong again. And then it says, oh, new moderator. There's my hint. K, E, N. Now you do that. Now you're not in the file. You've just decrypted the file. Now you still have to authenticate with whatever you were doing before, like your admin password. So you're like, wow, this is a lot of passwords. This sucks. A locally running FileMaker file with ear password is extra work, but most people don't really use it this way. They use it on a server, and we're going to do that. So I put the username and password in, so now we're into the file. Okay, makes sense. We've got the ear right here. Let's talk about, because we need to tee up what happens, why we need tomorrow. So here's what happens. So here we have ear. I want to upload the file to the FileMaker server. So I'm going to go over here to FileMaker Pro. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to close this. I'm going to say file. What do I want to do? I want to sharing, upload to host. So I want to upload a FileMaker file to FileMaker Cloud 2 or FileMaker Server, Mac, Windows, or Linux. It's the same thing. So you select this, and it says, these are all the servers you already have access to. I've already set up a server here. You'd have to have the username and password for the server. I'm going to put that in. Yeah, I think it's this. Okay, so I put a username and password in. It says, what files would you like to upload? You have to identify the files once again. So I'm going to say, or actually this says browse, I can drag. Okay, this one has browse drag on it. So I'm going to put, I want to put this one on here, the ear one. Okay, so I'm going to put the ear one on here. And it says, hey, you're going to move a file. You better know what the password is. What's the ear password? I'm like, it is Ken, K-E-N. Okay, so it's there. File, I'm going to zoom in here. File is encrypted. A server administrator must open the file after it is uploaded. The reason is that we talk about this is that you can check it. Like if I go over this quick start one right here, and I want to do this one too, the file will be uploaded, and down here it will be opened automatically on the server because it can. An ear password can't open on the server automatically because guess what? The server This is such a critical piece for today and tomorrow. The server right now doesn't know the air password. It doesn't know kin. We haven't told it kin, right? We haven't done anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell it to upload the server. It uploads it. Okay. File was uploaded. Open with FileMaker Pro. I could check that, and this says it was uploaded. We need to ask our server administrator to open it for us. In our case, we're actually going to go to that. Jacob, tell you want to walk me? Is it live stream? Is that what this is? Live.
Nope. Stream dot. Just
live.
stream.
Just stream.
Just stream.
And then add RCC.
Yep.
So I'm going to type that. Oop, that's interesting. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so but I want to do what is
got
it?
Demo files. So you want to do the admin console, right?
Yeah.
So you're gonna add two things. You're gonna put an HTTPS on it because otherwise none of this works.
Okay, so whenever we do the reminder, if we covered this last week, HTTP.
Actually, hold on. To demo for everyone why it fails, take your HTTPS off and then do the thing you were thinking of. Go to the end. It's port 16,000.
It's 16,000, not 16,001. So there you go. Everyone got this? Can we see this? Everyone's got this?
Watch it. It's gonna fail. Dun, 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 dun. It will fail. This does not work.
Okay, so this is the fail, or does it throw a dialogue and warn?
No, this is the fail. It will never connect.
Okay.
So, and this is just a little. If you all are trying to do this on your own at home, you're going to run into an issue where you'll do something like that, and you'll be like, "Oh, I'm going to go to the admin console. Let me put port 16,000 in," and it won't do anything at all. So, Richard, if you would be so kind, put your HTTPS at the beginning.
This is how you log into the admin console. Hopefully.
No, you put HTTP and you.
Then I did it again. I did it wrong. Oh, look at that. Because I don't normally do it that way. Okay, there's HTTPS. Return. Oh, there it goes. So then it's admin, and then see if it works. I'll save the password.
It's a little demo live on air for you guys.
All right, so here we go. So this is the current server. This is 19.2.1. Is there a 2.2 server? Is this?
Nope, 19.2.1.
Is the current
There's a 2.2 client, I believe.
Client, yeah, that's what I'm in over here. Okay, so let's go to databases over here. We're going to see starting point was there. This is there. Quick start is there. It's running. Quick start ear. If I'm going to zoom in over here, has got the pause. It's closed file. Why is it closed? Because it can't run. So I'm going to say open, and it's going to say, hey, hello. You must tell me the ear password so I can open it. Right. So I'm going to put in KEN. Now this is super important. Okay. I can save the password, and that means that every time in the future, whenever FileMaker server restarts and it opens this file, it will put kin password in there for you automatically. This is normally what we all do. Otherwise, what happens is that you forget to turn this on. Someone restarts the server and the file doesn't open. People say, I restarted the server. Oh, where's it at? I started to where's it? And you come down here and it's not running. And you're like, well, so you have to put the password in. You save the password. You say, okay. Now it comes down here and it's running. So if we come back over to FileMaker Pro, very important here. I'm going to say done. I'm going to say file, open, host, live stream. It's going to give me my files. Here's the air password. What am I going to get? What am I going to be presented with? Does anyone know what I'm going to be presented with? They didn't ask us for the air password. Why? Because FileMaker server de-encrypted it, and now it's giving everyone the unencrypted data out. Does that make sense? So I'm waving my hands over here. Probably not very great, but let me zoom out a little bit. But so FileMaker server opens the file, but in order to open it, it must de-encrypt it. So the kin password de-encrypted it. Now it's de-encrypted, so everyone that opens it will open it through the normal process. I can open it through admin and password, right? It opens it up normally, right? Pretty cool. I can close it. I can say open it up again right here, and I could put in TK and TK. So now what's going to happen? We've got a double whammy, right? That didn't work. TK, did I not do it correctly? Did we not keep TK? Oh, that's in the kiosk file. Sorry, my file. I got the files correct. I was trying to play with the kiosk at the same time. Different file. But yes, so no one sees the air password. So here is the issue, okay? What do people do with passwords? What's the number one thing people do with passwords? Does anyone know what they do? I'm waiting for some. Forget. Correct. Scott Kane gets it. They lose the password. They forget the password. Now, say that we post a file up today, and then we walk off, and this is FileMaker server, and if Jacob set it up and it's running backups and stuff, pretty reliable, and it never has a problem, okay? So I remember it's Ken today, right? But then what do I going to remember tomorrow? And then day after that, and day after that. And then a year from now, am I going to remember what it is? And if it says new moderator, I might guess it's Ken, but I'd put TK 55678, Larry Marines, crayons, red, tasty crayons. I'd try all this other stuff, right? And I might get to Ken spelled correctly. So what happens when you're on a FileMaker server and the server knows the air password? The server cannot give you the password. The password is not accessible anywhere on the server. The password, the air password itself, is encrypted at a very high degree on the server. You cannot get it from the server. So how do you ever get your FileMaker file back? How do you do that, right? Send it to Claris, they'll fix it for me. They can't hack it. Send it to NSA. All right, maybe. If you send them a check for $5 million to your local senator and bribe your local politicians and have them call the NSA and lean on them, or you tell them that there's secret terrorist information in the file, they could get into it. Outside of that, you're screwed, okay? Seriously screwed. Yeah, the password hint, right? Moderator, but that's assuming in a year or two, because that's the scenario that we're teeing up for tomorrow. We have customers who set a password, never write it down, and 3 years later, it's asking them for the password, and they don't remember. And there's no undo on this. And so
they have no idea.
They're totally screwed. But it's okay because the FileMaker server is still running, right?
Yep.
And so, but then, so this is also happening on Claris Cloud 1.0. Claris Cloud 1.0 really, the Cloud FileMaker Cloud 1.0 is really FileMaker server, a very basic version of FileMaker server. And they're shutting that down. They've been shutting people down this year, and then by January 2022, it'll all be shut down, so the file will go away. The server will go away. Now, you could get your file, you could download your file, but you're going to get the same dialogue. What's the encryption password? What's the encryption password? And you have no idea, and your entire business is on it. So how do you solve that problem? Tune in tomorrow, and we're going to show you the emergency Star Trek transport. A raccoon was going all over the place. He's like wild. Raccoon Ops. He was asking a question about HTTP.
I kind of answered it, but somebody has to like copy and paste it or whatever.
Okay, his question was about HTTPS.
His question was about the demo that we did showing. Yeah, you put the address in, you put port 16,000 for the admin console, and it doesn't respond by default. He was asking why is it just not HTTPS by default. And I actually, my response to that is actually that it is HTTPS by default. You literally can't talk to the admin console unless you're using a secure connection. It won't let you. So that is actually HTTPS.
I think he's wondering, like, when I popped HTTP,
why didn't it just go there
to S automatically? Because I didn't type
correct.
it. I didn't type it, right? So
right. And that actually is a good question. There's two ends to that. One of them is kind of Claris, I suppose. So like if Claris knows that you put an SSL, this would be FileMaker server knows that you put an SSL certificate in, it could program in and say, hey, always send them to HTTPS. If they connect, go for it. Like it's always good.
Bounce them forward, but yeah.
Yeah, and that rule's not in there, so that's one potential answer to it. You could add that rule if you wanted to. The other one is the way that a browser will do HTTPS, the way that you teach a browser, hey, when you're going to whatever, the admin console in this case, always use a secure connection. That request, always use a secure connection, can only be communicated over a secure connection. Okay. And so if you had not ever logged into the admin console before or brought that brought stream at rcc.com up in your Safari, on a secure connection or something like that. And if you had never done that, there's no reason for your browser to automatically connect. It actually may now, like if you, whatever, but.
Yeah. All right. So I think we got that
weed.
one. So Ruben from the Oracle world is asking us a really great question. Do we recommend using ear? Okay. My general answer is don't use it unless you need to use it. And so when ear came out, I went to Claris because they were very adamant. If you lose this, you will be screwed. And I knew instantly that people would lose the password. I think it's an important capability. I think people see if there's a way to encrypt a file that more encryption is always better. I would simply tell you that, for example, if you have medical records, if you have personal identifying information, like, for example, Ken, one of the moderators here, runs a database. It's got some pilot information there. It probably has scans of the pilot medical certificates, which I don't really think are secret themselves, but I think on mine it says your height and your eyes and your weight or something like that. And so that would technically be something that you might want to have encrypted, but it's really not going to be a target of a bunch of Chinese hackers to find out your height and your weight, because that's really not, frankly, much of a secret. But if you had credit card information, you had like a medical history, like I know that Ken used to be Kennette, it was a girl, and he had a sex change operation. He wanted to keep that secret. Then he wanted to run for governor of the state of California. That would be considered confidential, and you would probably want to encrypt that. The problem is small business being what it is, they do it and then they forget about it. So we've been working at RCC very diligently. We've notified everyone that we've worked on servers with, on Cloud 1 server specifically, because FileMaker Cloud, when you do Cloud 1 or Cloud 2, it requires the ear password. You're required. You cannot load a file up to FileMaker Cloud. It was an Apple thing. Apple didn't want to be in the hosting business if people's stuff wasn't fully encrypted. The only downside of it is that people didn't write the stuff down. And so thus far, we have one customer. The customer that we have one customer that forgot this, and it was their password. They uploaded the file, they forgot it, and we jury-rigged the emergency Star Trek transport to save their asses. Has that project been done? Have you guys finished that, or where's that at? Do you know?
Not completely finished, no.
Okay, well,
we're demoing it slightly early, but yeah.
Okay, well, the point is that as long as that customer server keeps running, it's okay because they can log in. But the second that server actually dies and goes down, and the server can't be restarted because FileMaker shutting it down or something happens, the server catches fire. There's no backups of the server. Here's another one that caught a customer. Former engineer of mine, doesn't work here anymore, decides to upgrade the server. Remember when I say you're going to upgrade a server? Build a new server. Or if not, snapshot the server so you can roll back. So, because when you do a server upgrade, okay, this is so important what I'm telling you folks. Listen, please listen. When you do a server upgrade, if something doesn't go well, you need to roll back. You have to be able to roll back. So the former engineer of mine decides that he's going to help a customer upgrade, and he just in the FileMaker server, he comes up in this dialog here on FileMaker server, and it says, hey, there's a new version. Would you like to install it? Right? And he was like on FileMaker 16 or 17 or whatever he was, and he wanted to go to 19. He says, yeah, just install it. Never mind backups. Never mind snapshots. Never mind building it on a new server. I would just say there's a reason he doesn't work for me anymore, right? And so he does this to this person, this customer of his. I find out about this back channel. Well, during the upgrade process, there's that little hidden encrypted file that keeps on the server that keeps the ear passwords. Well, during the upgrade process, it deletes it. So the ear passwords, so the server was an 18 server, now it's a 19 server. It doesn't know any of the ear passwords anymore. It's got its fingers in its ears. It's like, what's the password? It's like, nah, I can't hear you. So you have to put the ear password in, except the customer and the developer didn't write it down. No one wrote it down. So the customer was down for 3 days, raising holy hell, even calling me, and I'm like, hey, you're not my customer. It's, and you got a developer there. He has the password. He should have the password. He should have written it down. Never mind that you have a rollback plan to reestablish. So after 3 days of them going around in circles, they found a Post-it note somewhere with a password on it, right? Crazy stuff. And the problem is you're dealing with potentially putting a company out of business because the FileMaker's gone. So this is really dangerous shit, okay? I don't lightly cuss on the channel. But this is, I can't say enough. I can't say the word big enough. This is dangerous shit, okay? Literally, it's like giving a bunch of 6th and 7th graders a loaded gun in the school parking lot and watching to see what happens, okay? It's just not good. It ends badly for everyone. And as a developer, you've got to be thoughtful about this. So we had a customer, got themselves into a pickle, so tomorrow we're going to show you the emergency transport. It's really quite clever, but it's pretty serious business, right? Because basically you're saying, here's a FileMaker file, you use it all day, every day, and now it's gone forever, right? And it's not like you can go to a backup because all the backups have the air password on them too, right? I mean, we're seriously screwed. So my recommendation, if someone comes to me and says, if I have 100 customers that come to me and say, should I use ear for Ruben? I would say 6 or 8 or 10 of them, of the 100, you could use ear. You should use ear. The rest, 90% of you don't have anything worth stealing. It's important to you and your business, but no one cares about Joe's landscaping and car wash service in Nebraska, okay? Right? Honestly, they don't, right? So I'm not being a jerk about it. Now, if you have, like if Larry has inventory on M4s and deployments for his, Marine Expeditionary Unit, right? MEU, right, somewhere, then yeah, that's like classified, right? So anyway, yeah, so then you want it encrypted, you better write it down. So Jacob, you have any things? Filippo, Severa, I can't even pronounce your last name. Sir Valera. Cool. Yeah, so Canberra is at Labs, okay? They do nuclear weapons. So the nuclear weapons guy here, who's now retired, uses ear. Thank you for using ear, okay? Question from Stu, does ear protect the file while the file is open on the server? Okay, so let's think about this. The FileMaker file is encrypted. The FileMaker server opens it. So as it opens it, it's going to load, it has to decrypt it, and then the decrypted bits will be in RAM memory. So, but that's really hard to get into and hack and kind of stuff. And so the file is kind of decrypted, living in RAM memory. And then as it transmits out across the internet, the SSL kicks in and it's encrypted there. Now you could encrypt certain fields, like say you actually had, say we're at Sandia Labs and we had simulated yield outputs on nuclear tests. So the point now with nuclear weapons, they don't really blow them up anymore because they have really good software, however they wrote this, that simulates it and how it works. I'm not even sure how that's even possible because this seems impossible. But they have a computer model that models how good it works, how much it blows up, the explosive force. Say you want to encrypt that number in there. You can do field level encryption on top of that. So you could have the file encrypted, then you can encrypt specific fields if you want. You targeted this with script step for that. Talk about that if you want in a different video. And so that way, even if it's in RAM memory, it's still encrypted, right? And then if it goes across the wire, it's encrypted. And then the user at the other end, if they put a password in, could de-encrypt that field locally on their computer. So that would be like the ultimate protection. All right, that's it for today, everyone. Thank you, Christian Olsen, for being here. It is awesome. See you, Christian Olsen. Why did I say Christian Olsen? I was thinking of Wolfpack. That's what Deb. I saw the word. I was reading Stu's comment about Wolfpack. And I thought Christian Olsen, but you're not Christian Olsen. You're Jacob Taylor. Jacob Taylor's here. He's awesome. He'll be here tomorrow. Thanks, everyone.
enough.
And the guys just stepped up the whole way. Calm, cool, collected the quarterback. Great read, good patience. More importantly, great job up front protecting this quarterback to give you a chance. And that's all you can ask for.
Try to rally down 10. 9:25 to go here in the fourth. Short motion by Amendola from the left. Brady takes the shotgun snap, stands in, throws it left for Amendola, reaches up and snacks a high throw and lands inside the 10, rolling to the 9. Ball slightly behind him, again he makes the grab.